Thank you so much for being here this morning. If I can have your attention, please. Thank you. Staff and students, please stand and welcome our veterans and their loved ones. At this time, we ask that you stay standing, please, for the presentation of our nation's colors. This year, Marine Vietnam veteran and member of the Menominee Tribe of Wisconsin, Michael Pamanikut, will lead our color guard in carrying in the Trickster, Illinois native veteran Eagle Staff. The Eagle Staff is the first flag of these lands. The feathers on the staff represent fallen warriors who gave their life for this great country. Members of the Elk Grove High School Choir will now lead us in the national anthem.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
You may now be seated. Welcome to Elk Grove High School's 6th Annual Veterans Day Assembly. My name is Jacques Cavazos, and I will be your MC for today's ceremony. We are excited to continue this annual tradition of honoring those who have served or are currently serving in the American Armed Forces. In fact, We are proud to announce that today we are hosting our largest celebration to date. We have roughly 150 guests with us, each of whom have looked forward to this celebration for weeks now, as many of them have celebrated with us annually since 2014. Just 1 year ago, we hosted the highly respected and well-known local hero, Mr. Al Mompre, at this very assembly. Mr. Mompre spent the day with us, sharing stories of having served in the European theater during World War II. At the conclusion of the day, he graciously thanked his hosts and respectfully said to one of our staff members as he was heading out of the door, "Days like today reinforce my optimistic vision for this country's future." Sadly, over the summer, Mr. Mompre passed away at the age of 97. We are so grateful to him for having left us so many beautiful lessons, and we will continue to honor and share his legacy. Each year, our students and staff develop a new theme for our celebration. This year, our theme is Honoring America's Warriors. Throughout the next hour, we will highlight contributions made in service to our great country by individuals from various ethnicities, races, genders, and socioeconomic statuses. To get things started, we are honored to welcome an Illinois member of the United States House of Representatives. He has come all the way from Washington, D.C. to be here with us today to show support for our veterans. Please give a warm welcome to Congressman Raja Krishnamurthy.
Good morning. It's an honor to be with you here today, and it's an honor to come someplace they pronounce your name properly. It's a true story. I introduced myself a long time ago in Chicago. I said, "Hi, my name is Raja Krishnamurthy." And the person looked right back at me and said, "Roger Christian Murphy. Very nice to meet you." Well, in any case, I'm honored to be here. I want to observe those 3 rules of public speaking: be short, be sweet, and be gone. And so I want to make 3 points. First of all, can you give a big round of applause for the organizers and dignitaries who are here today with us? Of course, there is Mrs. Stephanie Kizios. Where is she? Principal Kelly, my good friend Joe Podlasek. Where's Joe? Okay, Joe, he has done tremendous service for our Native American veterans and veterans in general, and I'm so honored that he makes his home here in our congressional district. And of course, I see some elected officials. I see State Representative Michelle Musman and Senator Laura Murphy. Give them a round of applause too. Next point, give our veterans a big round of applause. And please stand. Please stand and be recognized. You know, these veterans have done something very special for our country. You know, they put their lives on the line for all of us. As we usher in the Veterans Day weekend, I want to express my deepest gratitude to all the veterans as well as current service members for the incredible sacrifices and hardships you have endured. My own brother was a longtime physician at the VA hospital in Hines, and he would tell us, all these stories of heroism that the patients he treated would bear with them. And I just want to tell you from the bottom of my heart, all of us are so deeply in debt to you, and let's make every day Veterans Day. Let's make every day a day where we serve you, we honor you, and we thank you for everything that you've done for our country. Do you agree with me with that? And the third and final point I want to just make is this, which is, as we honor our veterans, let's try to also draw the lessons from their lives that we can learn and implement in our own lives today. Obviously, we should always remember the service and the gallantry and everything that these specific veterans have done in their careers. But let's also remember what their lives exemplify. One, public service, and two, working in causes bigger than yourself. So I think all of us here can try to implement those two lessons every single day. Whether that's working in community service right now while you're in high school, maybe a food pantry, maybe in a homeless shelter, maybe for veterans. What can we do to help? Maybe it's dedicating your life to public service. Maybe you become a teacher. Maybe like Private Alba, who's a graduate of Elk Grove Village High School, you join the service. Private Alba, can you stand for a moment, as well as the current students at Elk Grove Village who are in the service. Please stand and give them a round of applause. We are so proud of them, and they were here at this high school just recently, or they are currently in high school, and they're training to become a full-time member of the service. Maybe even some of you might run for office. Maybe you'll run for city council, or state rep, or state senator. Maybe you'll run for the U.S. Congress, though please not in my congressional district. But in all seriousness, I hope that you draw bigger lessons from today that you carry with you in your student lives and your lives and your journey after high school. So thank you so much. I close with my favorite saying, which is that yesterday is history, tomorrow's a mystery, but today's a gift. That's why we call it the present. I'm so honored and blessed to be with you here today as you celebrate our heroes. Celebrate the people who put their country above themselves. And let's try to carry forward the lessons that we've learned from their lives. Thank you so much, and God bless all of you. Happy Veterans Day.
Thank you so much, Congressman Krishnamurthy. Next, our very own Assistant Principal of Instruction, Mr. Art Centeno, a serviceman from the 1st Infantry Division of the United States Army, would like to share a few words. Please welcome Mr. Centeno.
Thank you, Elk Grove High School, and to all the dedicated staff that worked hard to run this amazing show of respect for all the veterans. And thank you to everyone here. Now, every serviceman or woman has a reason for joining the military. Things like money for college, limited after-school options, family traditions, pure patriotism, and a love of country are just a few to be named. For me, it was a way to finish college when my parents told me they had no more money. I went to my local recruiter in Monmouth, Illinois, and asked, how do I pay for college? See, a funny thing happens when you get into the military. They dress everyone the same, they make us get funny little haircuts, and they yell at us all day long. We all come from different walks of life, yet they make us all look the same, walk the same, and even talk the same. We bond through our common experiences, and we become soldiers. And then you accomplish something together, and our bond becomes something different. This accomplishment can be as simple as the time we all went through the gas chamber, or with the time we all had our rooms tossed apart because 1 out of 100 bunks had an unauthorized crease in it. We all share that common struggle, and that struggle builds unity. Great teams in life are formed this way. Championship athletic groups go on retreats, performing arts groups eat meals together, and families reminisce about the loss of a loved one. That bond is called brotherhood. Now, if you asked me why I joined after I redeployed to the States in 2005, I would not say it's for college money, but instead I tell you it's for the brothers and sisters in arms. When I was deployed, I never knew what day of the week it was. A Friday felt like a Wednesday, which felt like a Saturday, and so on. I didn't look at Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, or Instagram, not only because we didn't have internet access, but because that stuff didn't matter. I never opened a newspaper, checked the cell phone, or even looked at a television. Life's distractions were eliminated. I remember the time my gunner told me on our headset, "Hey sir, Merry Christmas." It was like 10:30 at night and we were on patrol. I replied, "Bah humbug," because at the time Christmas didn't matter. I was laser focused on the important things, like watching each other's back and making sure that I didn't mess up the proper frequencies or route planners procedures. Over there, you don't get redos. You don't get extra credit. If I forgot my ammo, my supervisor didn't give me more because it was my responsibility. I had to suck it up. Mistakes just couldn't happen. I saw bravery there at its finest, not because of Army medals, but because the guy next to you depended on you. Together as a team, or what we coined Band of Brothers, we fought only to keep the next person safe. If you ask me, would I do it again? I'd probably say yes, because I learned more about myself than any other time in my life. I learned that words are cheap, but actions are worth gold. I learned that talking the part doesn't always mean that you can do the part. And most importantly, caring for others is the way to stomp out fear. I tell you these things because here our decisions may not be so serious. Life should be enjoyed. Be nice to each other and appreciate the freedoms and privileges we have every day. To walk around and speak your mind, to wear the clothes you want and voice your opinion about the government without persecution is a beautiful thing. Yet, we all still have a role. Today, thanking our veterans is our role. I ask that today you act as each other's brother's keeper through acts of kindness and appreciation. Thank a veteran, but also thank a loved one or just a fellow citizen. Be proud of what we got because we're people who gave the ultimate sacrifice for it. Like I said, everyone has a role in this great nation. Sometimes that role requires people to wear a uniform. For the fortunate few that can probably carry out this role, it means more than donning on your battle dress uniforms. It means dedication to our country. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you, Mr. Centeno. At this time, please sit back and enjoy a short film created by our very own Mr. Bruce Janke.
Indian Reservation. I landed at 0630 in the first wave. I was actually very wounded and dragged many from the water to keep them from drowning because many were wounded and they could not move and they could not swim and the tide was coming in very fast.
Dear veterans, dear friends, dear all, thank you for being at our side today to celebrate D-Day and especially honoring Native American soldiers who took part in the Battle of Normandy.
Charles Shake typifies the bravery of the 1st Infantry Division, as well as the service and sacrifice that Native Americans displayed at Normandy and beyond.
My name is Peter McDonald. I'm the president of the 13 surviving Navajo Code Talkers.
During World War II, over 44,000 Native Americans served in the armed forces. They stormed the beaches of Normandy, Iwo Jima, and provided the only unbreakable secret code of the war. They were 400 strong, and they were known as the Code Talkers.
By the time the war ended, 1945, there were 400 of us that went to war. And also code words grew to 600 code words subject to memory only. In every battle, from the front line, beach command post, command ship, all other ships, code talkers were used. Without Navajo, Marines would never have taken the island of Iwo Jima.
My name is Leslie Edwards, but it's Leslie Edwards Jr. In the military, we know the role the armed forces played in establishing that we could move as a nation to be better than that old way of living that was accepted in the South.
Although the armed forces were segregated along with much of the country during the war, the Tuskegee Airmen proved to be some of the best pilots in the military, and their legacy and inspiration continues to this day.
We are a product of the people that came before us, and I wouldn't be sitting here today to receive this award if the Tuskegee Airmen didn't exist.
What she has done is the same thing that those Tuskegee Airmen did. And what she's done, what many of you've done, is prove that courage and ability and the ability to get things done and the ability to lead people in times of chaos and times of danger, that really doesn't matter what color your skin is. What matters there is what's in your heart, what's in your head, what's in the training you've had, and in your grit and determination. I'm so proud of you.
The dedication to principles of loyalty, patriotism, strong religious faith, and devotion to family displayed by Hispanic Americans is basic to the American way of life. Hispanic Americans have played an important role in the development of our rich cultural heritage, and every state has benefited from their influence. Through the years, Hispanic American citizens have risen to the call of duty in defense of liberty and freedom. Their bravery is well known and has been demonstrated time and again, dating back to the aid rendered by General Bernardo Galvez during the American Revolution.
Hispanic Americans have left an indelible mark on the American military since before there was even a United States. Spanish General Bernardo de Galvez helped defeat the British during the American Revolution with troops from what would become Puerto Rico, Cuba, Mexico, and the Dominican Republic. Hispanic Americans continued service in every era of U.S. history thereafter. Puerto Rican soldiers have fought for the United States since the Revolution. An all-Puerto Rican regiment, the 65th Infantry Unit, fought in both World War II and Korea. It was the last segregated unit in the United States and highly decorated. In April of 2016, the unit was finally recognized with a Congressional Gold Medal.
Thank you for the honor of allowing me to join this assembly of distinguished members of Congress to represent the 66th Infantry Regiment, also known as the Marine Engineers, for which I was part. It is a well-deserved tribute to the brave men that fought many hard battles in Korea. Those who survived, as well as those who lost their lives in combat. Their devotion to duty and many acts of valor against the enemy demonstrated their skills and their loyalty to the United States.
Best friend today, as we were leaving Good Man's Way. What kept your buddies for so many years? He said, son, we were there. We were there. We were the sons of liberty, all side by side, on the sands of Normandy when duty called.
When we wear this uniform, doesn't matter where we came from, doesn't matter what religion we ascribe to, we wear the suit. And because of that, we treat each other as peers, as colleagues, and that one person puts their life in that person's hands, and another person puts their life in that other person's hands, and they're one.
We were there when Martin Luther had his dream. We were there, saw JFK beside the tree. We were there for our sons in Vietnam. We were there for this great land.
It's just an honor to serve. It's something that's rooted in our culture. It's tied into like our history of our people, where we just take pride in defending those who can't defend themselves.
Something that must be ingrained in our culture, that you have to work hard to achieve your goals. I don't know if that was ingrained from years or our ancestors, but I think that's it. And I think that Hispanics, just like any other culture, we just want to contribute and be part of our great country.
Said we were there. We were the sons of liberty for America, home of the brave land of the free. We did call, you and I, we did our share. Yes, we did. Yes, we did. We were there.
Change the world as an idea. And we lose out on ideas when we don't include everybody and we're not diverse in how we bring people together.
America, we know, is composed of diverse communities. We have different languages, different skills, different talents, and different religions. But when our way of life is threatened, like the freedom and liberty that we all cherish, we come together as one. And when we come together as one, we are invincible.
Thank you, Mr. Janu, for that moving and educational film. For the past 3 years, our local VFW Post 9484 has issued 2 $1,000 scholarships to 2 seniors in honor of Mr. Mark Evans, founder of the local veterans organization, Pizzas for Patriots. At this time, we'd like to welcome to the podium Mr. Terry Tomaso, who will announce this year's scholarship winners.
Thank you. And the post is 9284. But that's neither here nor there. It's a great honor to be here. And all you students up there, I know you got the morning off and you like that, but we appreciate you being here and thank you. It's an honor. Our post each year is offering two $1,000 scholarships to two of the worthiest individuals that we thought. Although this year there were 6 applicants, every essay was terrific. 2 stood out above the others. And one is going to come as a complete surprise. But here they are. And along with me is Bill Firestone, our quartermaster. He's the gentleman that signs the checks. So I would like to acknowledge the 2 recipients. First, Zachary Eugene. The other one's going to come as a surprise to him, but it's Paulo Lasaka. Are you here? Very well. Once the 2 students select the schools and let us know which schools they are, we will deposit the checks in their individual accounts at the schools. But once again, it's been an honor, and you guys here at Elk Grove are terrific. This is my fourth year coming here, and each one is bigger and better than the first. Thank you all, and God bless you.
Congratulations to Paulo and Zachary, and thank you once again to our incredibly generous VFW for this annual grant to our deserving students. Next, we'd like to introduce this year's keynote speaker, Mr. Joseph Podlasek, a Polish and Native American from the Ojibwe tribe, has a long line of military history in his family. Mr. Podlasek serves our country through community service and policy work for cultural education. He is currently the organizer for the National Gathering of American Indian Veterans, hosting 40-plus tribes each July at Cantigny Park. He is also the founder and CEO of Trickster Art Gallery. Please give a warm welcome to Mr. Joe Podlasek.
Greetings in our language. I am, my name to the creator is Mushkidi Bijigi, which is standing buffalo. There's some of the work that after welcoming you home, this is my way of serving. Trying to make community a little bit better, figuring out the puzzles of how to welcome you home properly. So it takes a lot of stamina. So standing buffalo is what we take a lot of abuse, but still stay standing. And thanks to, we're always, Mike Monica is our Vietnam veteran, served in the Marines and in the Army. He is the carrier as a combat vet of our Eagle staff, which is the first flag of these lands. Before Betsy Ross was born, our people were carrying these Eagle feather staffs in order to remember our veterans. And those feathers are gifted by families for those that gave their lives for our community and these lands. So we wanted to thank Elk Grove and all the planners, and especially the students, for allowing us to come this year. This is our first time here. We're excited. Love to be part of the team and bringing our veterans amongst all the veterans that are here today is quite an honor. So I wanted to say about, for building teamwork, I've been watching today. I come with no notes. I speak from the heart when I speak, so it kind of builds what happens for the day, because that's important. The students that I got to meet, all the veterans that I got to meet, and now seeing the team that came together. So we have Representative Michelle Musman here, who started and believed in our campaign to get the recognition for this Eagle Staff. Illinois, the state with no tribal reservation land, was the first to recognize it in this country. And although we had to depart 2 more sessions, Congressman Krishnamurti, and I have learned how to say his name correctly, took it to Congress. And we have since continued to get states across the country to support and move this. So it will be an act of Congress, and time to come. There's a lot of other things that are critical at this time. But eventually that will move forward. And I just want to make clear that we are not taking anything away from the American flag. Our men and women serve jointly under these flags to remember, as we say, we never want to forget those that serve. Well, we include that, but as an extension to before the United States was formed. So we want to remember our ancestors too, and that's how we do that. But we serve, my dad served, my grandfather served World War I. My dad was Korean vet. I have 6 uncles that served Vietnam. They've all gone, crossed over now. So there's a long line of military. For whatever reason, it wasn't my calling. My calling is to do this work here, and it makes me feel good to be able to do that and see all these students doing what they did this morning. The breakfast was fabulous. Get a round of applause for them, huh? And as we move forward, we'd just like to share a little bit of our history too, not to be highlighted or spotlighted, but it's about just awareness. Our people served at the highest percentage rate of any race of people, at 24% since the Civil War. So every one of four of our people served. There is no other race that is even close to that in the numbers, and those are documented by the Department of Defense. So there is a special report if you ever want to see a little research on it. So we just want to help educate and be part of. Often we're thought of as our own little community because there's reservations. But you know what? These men and women, and we've kind of adopted Post 2202 at Trickster Gallery. We helped them move it. They were getting shifted around a little bit, so Marco's always here. We kind of adopted him as part of our group because we're all together in this fight. And once we figured that out, and how making community a good place for everyone, that's important. So I wanted to ask some of the students, I know veterans have served, if you could stand, if you have anyone in your family that has served, go back to your grandpa, maybe your mom or dad, anyone over here that served or serving, please stand up and be proud of them. Aunts, uncles, that's what we're talking about. See how many people are connected? Think about that. If you have a friend, stand for them that you know that served or has served, a neighbor. And I'm going to leave it. Our men and women from World War II said it well. When we stand together, we're stronger, no matter what. So the Navajo Code Talkers. By the way, I'm going to sneak a plug in because it may be our last opportunity. The gentleman that was in that film from the Navajo Code Talkers will be at the Trickster Gallery on November 18th at 11 a.m. If you'd like to come. we're actually going to get a couple of Japanese World War II veterans together too, to create that unity that has long been a problem. So revisiting that and getting them together, but you're welcome there. But I don't think I can say it any better than what they did. Is let's stand together. Know that our community is looking forward to being part of all veteran activities, being proud of helping wherever we can. And let's give one more big round of applause for all these veterans who are here. I have a friend I remember, but I want to say thank you for your service. Again, enjoy the rest of the afternoon. Thank you so much for welcoming us, allowing us a few minutes to talk and to share a little bit of our story. Cool.
Thank you, Mr. Pavlicek. We encourage all present today to visit Trickster Art Gallery in Schaumburg if you have never done so. Its mission is to promote Native cultural connections. To show our support for their mission, at this time, we'd like to present Mr. Pavlicek with a piece that several of our art students have been designing for the past several weeks. Titled American Progress, the composition was created by senior and German exchange student Bianca Zenz and junior Abigail Machashek. These students selected images that represent and symbolize the modernization and advancements of our country as a result of the work and sacrifice of our armed forces. Bianca and Abby, along with Camille Dolce, Rebecca Valdez, and Jack Grove, volunteered their free time to paint this 30 by 40 acrylic painting. We are proud to be able to donate it to Trickster Art Museum. Wow, that's really nice. Excellent, excellent job. Thank you again to Mr. Pavlicek for all of the hard work he has done to support veterans in this community. We are so proud that our amazing art students are able to donate such a beautiful piece to your gallery. It is at this time that we would like to conduct the very special honorary part of our celebration. Veterans, please stand when the song that is relevant to your branch of service is played. Guests, please feel free to applaud respectfully as our veterans are being honored. Let's begin. present today from the United States Coast Guard. Of the United States Marine Corps. And finally, our members of the United States Navy. Please show appreciation one more time for all of our veterans representing the American Armed Forces. We would also like to be sure to recognize three veterans who could not be with us today. Alan Van Boydell, Julia Blasco, and Oscar Bettina. As you may recognize two of these veterans, Julia and Oscar, they were just sitting in this gym with us exactly 1 year ago as seniors who are committed to serve upon their graduation. They are both currently deployed. Following in their footsteps, we have with us today 4 current seniors who are committed to enlist upon their graduation in the spring. Let us please acknowledge seniors Krishna Ladd, Adam Macro, Giselle Maya, and Arlenis Ramirez. of luck to you seniors. We know that you will make us proud. Finally, we would like to pay special tribute to two very special veterans with us today, both of whom served during World War II. Please give an extra round of appreciation to Mr. George Casara, a Marine veteran who served in the South Pacific and is 97 years old today. Special recognition to Mr. Thomas Rettenbacher, an Army medic who served on European theater during World War II. He is also a Silver Star recipient. And students, if you are interested in hearing Mr. Rettenbacher's personal story, he'll be one of our panelists during today's question and answer panels in the theater during lunch periods. You are all welcome to attend the panel and more personally interact with our panelists. Aside from Mr. Rettenbacher, we will be welcoming the following veterans at our panel. Elk Grove High School 2017 graduate and Army veteran Liz Escobar, who recently returned home from a stint in Kuwait and Iraq. Marine veteran Corporal Dylan McAbee, who has served in Korea and Japan. And two of our very own staff members, Mr. Art Centeno and Mr. Rod Day, who will share their stories about having served in Iraq and Vietnam. We cannot wait to hear these brave men and women share their stories and answer your questions. Full classes are welcomed, as well as any student during his or her lunch period. Please feel free to stop in and hear their stories. Thank you, everyone, for yet another special assembly. Next, special guests, please remain in the gym for a small social gathering. Staff and students, you are dismissed. Hit it, Mr. Fiorito, and thank you, students.